why? Why does this keep sort of coming up other than they're hot and gorgeous?
There's that.
There's that. But a lot of men my age are steeped in a toxic masculinity and have been raised in a culture where...
Tracee Ellis Ross. Yes. She says she only dates younger men. She says she only dates younger men, and she finds men her age, they have this toxic masculinity thing going on. Yeah. So in other words, they're controlling. They're controlling. And she was on the Michelle Obama podcast, and she said it for herself, and we're going to cut away to that. She said it for herself. She said, I find myself dating younger men because older men, they have this, toxic masculinity thing going on, and I've been there, done that. I'm done with that. But she contradicts herself quite a bit during this podcast, but she never specified or clarified what she meant by younger men. Does she mean 5 years younger, 10 years younger, 20 years younger? Because quite frankly, younger men, we find older women, as target practice. Yes, target practice. Older women are target practice for younger men. And what older women get confused is the fact that they'll be having sexual relations with a younger man and going out with him and things like that. And the whole time, he having fun, whatever. But she thinks she's actually dating him, Because a man, at the end of the day, he doesn't want to be controlled. So a woman that's older than him, she's more likely to have more than him because men, we don't develop into more so later on in our lives, let's be real, as far as maturity and as far as like our business mindset and how we start really making money. Men really don't start making money to the mid 30s to 40s, really start making money. So what does she mean by younger men? She never clarified that, never specified that. She's never specific about that. She just said younger men. So we're going to cut away to what Tracee Ellis Ross said about how she's dating younger men at this point, and she find men her age, which is around 50s. She's 52. She find them to have a toxic masculinity trait going on. So let's hear what Tracee Ellis Ross had to say. Cut away.
About this, that often I date younger men. And a lot of it is because...
Let's stop on that, folks.
Oh my God, we had a great dinner. We had a great dinner, by the way, where across the table, your husband goes, but why? And I said, well, maybe because I can.
Yes, Parish. This is what I'm saying. Tales from Tracee's.
It's fun. It's really fun to share.
Tracee tales.
But
you date a younger
I'm sorry.
But one of the
men.
reasons, though, that because I had to ask myself that question, I was like, what is this about?
Yeah.
Because I want a partner, and so often, and it's not just that I'm older. I'm also very embodied. I am a full, very whole person who knows myself, who is in charge of my life, and who lives a very full, just robust life. So it's not just age, it's like life experience and sort of a difference. But I had to ask myself the question, why? Why does this keep sort of coming up other than they're hot and gorgeous?
There's that.
There's that. But a lot of men my age are steeped in a toxic masculinity and have been raised in a culture where there is a particular way that a relationship looks. And anything that starts to smell of that for me, I did enough of it where I was controlled and felt like I was a possession or whatever those things were, or prize, I have no interest in it, and I will not do it again.
There's that.
But a lot of men my age are steeped in a toxic masculinity and have been raised in a culture where there is a particular way that a relationship looks. And anything that starts to smell of that for me, I did enough of it where I was controlled and felt like I was a possession or whatever those things.
Tracee Ellis Ross. The older men have toxic masculinity. You're dating younger men now. You have this dating thing all figured out. What works best for you, right? That's what you said, right? You got it all figured out, what works for you. That's what you said. So let's see, have you been having success lately? See, has Tracee Ellis Ross been having success lately with her dating method, since she only dates younger men now? See what she got to say about this.
Again.
I'm sorry.
No,
Craig.
I was going to say, So it's a generational thing. So it didn't matter how you met them, or is it just
I'm
kind
not
of the
saying,
guys
that's
you're
sort
meeting?
of, that's obviously
Too big of a
It's a
generalization.
generalization,
Yeah.
but because I have dated men my age, there
Yeah.
is a difference. There is an openness that occurs with a younger man around whether it's gender fluidity or not even having an issue with homosexuality. I mean, something as basic as that.
Right, yeah.
That there's
No, I
times
hear you.
where I'll be, sitting across the table from somebody and just like, what did you just say?
Yeah, what century are you?
Like, oh my God.
Where's your horse and buggy?
Yeah, like, I'm so sorry.
And your bedpan.
Yeah, for real.
Chamber pot.
Yeah,
Your
your
chamber
chamber
pot.
pot. Your chamber pot. Like, where I'm just like, yeah, this is not a match.
Yeah.
And I have long been past the age where I feel like it's my job to teach somebody or
Yeah.
grow them up.
Yeah.
That I'm not interested in. So, but it's interesting. I mean, there's so many different philosophies on dating, and I have come up with mine. I have come up with what works for me and what makes sense for me and what feels safe for me.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, like, I'm not on dating apps. I have friends that have great success with dating apps, but that's just not something I'm comfortable
So
with.
you're meeting folks in the wild then.
That's the only way for me, or someone sets me up, or
Okay.
I meet them at an event. I meet someone. It's usually people that also have a level of recognition that they, have as much to lose as me to a certain extent. I don't know. I mean, I haven't had great luck lately, but I do have to say I'm moving up on what it is that I'm looking for as a match.
Yeah.
I've had some doozies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No success. No success. So in other words, Tracee Ellis Ross, she still got a body, definitely for her age. She wants someone she can control, and a boy toy. If you know anything about Tracee Ellis Ross, she still be posting thirst traps. She still post them come and get me pictures. I'm just saying. Them come and get me pictures. That's what I call them, thirst trap. Come and get me, ass poking out, this, that. You auditioning yourself. So you want a boy toy, and that's what you're gonna get. Because that's how you portray yourself to be. Someone to have fun with. You want to be real. So it is what it is. You'll continue to have fun here and there, and think you're dating younger man when they're just using you for target practice. But you found your method, and your method has worked for you, even though you haven't had success lately. But there we are, because older women feel like they could date younger men, but younger men just have fun with them, specifically depending on what age range we're talking about, age gap we're talking about, I should say. If it's within 10 to 20, 5 to 10, things like that, that'll determine a lot as far as the mindset of the man when he's with the gal. And younger women can find themselves dating older men because older men will provide stability. They'll be established already and things like that. And younger women sometimes are looking for that. So that's why older men can date younger women, and it's not as, not as crazy or off key, if we want to be real. But definitely want to get my reaction to this for sure. Because Tracee Ellis Ross say men her age in the 50s, they got that toxic masculinity. Hey, come here, do this, do that. She say, nah, I ain't with that. Comment, like, subscribe. That's where you help us share the video. If you're entertaining, hit that cash app. That's what I do. Keep the fire content. Come and keep it rolling. We out.